But this should be opening like this, no? Dear most pupils, a very warm welcome to the academic year 2020-21. This is Bharat Naidu wishing you all the best for your new academic year. Although we shall be missing each other as we cannot see and we cannot be present in a classroom situation. I would like to start this academic year's lesson with a short prayer. I hope all of you all are with me. Kindly join hands, close your eyes, and peacefully pray to the Almighty Lord. And heart of hearts, kindly repeat what can be seen on your screens. Lord, I give this school year to you. I pray that each of my children will learn exactly what is right for them to learn. Help them to master new skills and increase in their love of learning. Prepare them for what you have for them in their futures. Protect them from what is harmful to them and expose them to good things only. I pray that they will have good attitudes and a willingness to work hard. I pray that they will show respect and obedience. Please give our family peace during this school year. Thank you for loving them, protecting them, and caring for them. We move on to Chapter 1, Historiography, Development in the West. Already, Unit 1 and Introduction has been taken care of. We shall be focusing in this session Unit 1.2, Modern Historiography, 1.3, Development of Scientific Perspective in Europe and Historiography, 1.4, Notable Scholars, Voltaire. First and foremost, let us try to understand what exactly is history. As you've been learning and you've been taught all these years, history derives from the Greek word historia, which literally means inquiry when translated into English. It is also said knowledge acquired by investigation, or in other words you can say it can be called as the knowledge acquired by investigation. What is historiography? Well, historiography is a study of methods of historians in developing history as an academic subject. You must be very well aware of that history was added into your syllabus way back in Standard 3. Also, it is a study of how history had been recorded, and it's the analysis of forms of historical facts which have been coming down from one generation to another over a period of years. Now, what exactly is modern historiography? Well, children, modern historiography it is a modern way of analysis of history. Because this is a modern world and all things undergo a change, and owing to the changes which are taking place in the various equipments, devices, and everything around us, including the climate, definitely history also requires a modern way of analyzing things. Modern historiography has roots in Greek historical writings. Its origin is traced to the Greek language, which comes from the Greek term historia. We all know that the Greeks were very learned people, just as our forefathers in India were. Egyptian civilization, Greek civilization, and Indian civilization. All these civilizations are considered to be some of the greatest and the most richest civilizations which have given a lot to today's world. Hence, history also has evolved from these civilizations. Herodotus is also considered to be the father of history. This terminology, historia, which we call history, was used for the first time by Herodotus in his book, The Histories. The year of origin was the 5th century. Now here you can see it's written 5th century BCE. BCE basically stands before Common Era. Now this has been replaced for BC, which was earlier called as before Christ. And the term CE is replaced. CE, which was actually called as the Common Era, has been replaced to the word AD, which stood for after the death of Christ. As history should not be connected to any religion, there were changes, there were debates, arguments, and finally it has been changed from BC with having no reference to Jesus Christ, and hence it has been quoted as the Common Era and before the Common Era. Only difference is the word Christ has been removed from the same. Now we move on to the major characteristics of historiography. The 4 major characteristics of historiography are rationality, proofreading, growth of knowledge, change of views. Let's first start with rationality. Rationality being a modern era, the researchers, as it is a modern era, the research is scientific and unbiased, and hence we call it a rational world. It begins with the formation of important questions based on scientific principles. I repeat, rationality being a modern era, that means today's era, the 21st century, is considered to be a modern era. The research is based on science, where there is proof, where there is evidence. And that is the reason it is said to be rational, means where there is no prejudice, it is totally unbiased. It also begins with the formation of important questions based on scientific principles. As we talk about science, we talk about the principles. Because people in today's world, including the historians, will not accept anything blindly without any proof. For an instance, if there's a murder which takes place and you are sued into the court of law, the judge or the chief judge who will be attending this particular case will always give his verdict based on evidence. And that's the reason we call rationality as one of the major features or characteristics of historiography. Let's move on to the second point, the proofreading. Now, what exactly is proofreading? Well, this means finding sources in a new, which is now easy with the modern technology. I repeat, this means finding sources is now easy with the modern technology. This is a must because these important questions are anthropocentric and are based on the actions of people in the ancient times. Now, what exactly is anthropocentric? Well, I'll give you the meaning. Anthropocentric means which relates to humans. We all know that humans are the most significant entity or identity of the universe. Of course, all living and non-living organisms, they make a lot of difference to each other, but humans are more significant because all their six senses work. They put all their six senses to work. In short, history rules out the interrelationship between God on one side and human actions. Just because it has religious background, certain particular scriptures are blindly accepted. Well, history does not accept this. And that's the reason we say history rules out the interrelationship between God and human actions. There's no connection as such. So that's what is proofreading. Well, let's move on to the third. The third point is growth of knowledge. Now, we all know with the passage of time and developments that take place all across the globe, there's a lot of growth. And this growth takes place with new researches. The field of historiography has also become a vast and a very vast subject. And this is because it answers the anthropocentric question. What is anthropocentric? I told you, all connected to human beings, the significance, the superiority of human beings. And these questions are supported by reliable evidences. Evidences, proofs. I told you, nothing is acceptable to historians or to the subject of history without proper proof. Let's take an example over here. When we talk nowadays, we have the lockdown period, and we have been blessed with our television channels. Entertainment is going on 24/7 because people are locked up, we are getting bored. And you can see that our Honorable Prime Minister has taken care of these difficult times with his wise and timely actions. And here, he has put a serial. There are two important epics in the world which are the largest volumes, and that is the Ramayana, of course, and the second one you will be knowing, you have guessed it right, it is the Mahabharata. Now, all these years, many people had raised eyebrows on Ramayana. That can it be possible that Lord Sri Rama must have gone to hunt his beautiful wife in the aranyas of, or the forest, deep dense forests of an island which is cut away from India in the southeastern end after the state of Tamil Nadu, crossing the island of Rameshwaram? But all these years, all those people, those who had doubts, all these doubts have been clarified, as everyone knows that NASA has come out with clear pictures and facts that once upon a time there was a bridge which was built across the Park Strait from one end of Tamil Nadu, that is the Indian territory, right across Talaimannar in Sri Lanka. Oh, that's what we are talking about, dear children. Reliable evidences. I hope you got it right. We move on to the fourth point. The changes of views. History is about the journey of humans based on their past actions. Did you get it? The past actions. And that's the reason we always have come across this maxim. History repeats itself. Because we have to learn from the past actions. What has happened may be happening or will be happening in the near future. And this has to be avoided. And that's the reason it presents a graph of man's journey with the help of past human actions. So this very sequentially is put across from one genre to another, from one particular era to another, from one particular part of history to another, from one generation to another. Let's take an example. When we talk about human actions, what had happened in the 1947 partition period? India and Pakistan, two countries were born. But due to certain issues which were not looked into seriously, there was a repeat in the division, and the newly created country of Pakistan could not sustain its territory for not even more than 15 to 20 years. And there was a split, there was a war, and again there was a partition of West Pakistan and East Pakistan, which is now a new country, Bangladesh. I hope you've understood with this example. So these human actions, we have to learn from this. Now, there's one more important, you can see on your screens in your textbook, a very beautiful inscription over there. This inscription has been taken from the Great Louvre Museum, which is located in Paris, France. Some of the images I have downloaded from the internet for your kind reference, and some additional which are not available in the textbook. Now this, you can see, shows very clearly how the earliest inscriptions were. The above picture over here shows a fragment of earliest inscription, a forward marching file of soldiers. Now here you can see some soldiers, okay, on the extreme right, and you can see their leader in the extreme right. How many soldiers are there in the picture? If you look at the right hand side, there are almost 7 of them. And down below also you can see another soldier with a shield in his hand. And the one who is in the forefront, you can see he is having some spear in his hand. The tradition of recording historical event can be traced back to the Sumerian civilization. And we all know which is Sumeria or the Sumerians. The word Sumerians is very commonly found in the holy texts of the Jews, the Torah, and the holy book of the Christians, the Bible. This region is now located in ancient Mesopotamia, which is now called Iraq. Now, names of the Sumerian kings and the stories of their battles fought by them have also been preserved in various inscriptions. The earliest inscription shown above dates back to 4500 BCE. Can you just imagine? So well preserved on stones and walls. It records a battle which was fought between two kingdoms. It is now displayed in the Louvre Museum in France. Let's move on to the next unit. Development of scientific perspective. In development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography, in the 18th century CE, that is a common era, Europe made remarkable progress in two important fields. One, philosophy, and the second, science. But along with that, social and historical truths studied by applying scientific methods were also running in the forefront. Maximum focus was on the objectives of history and also historiography. Now, prior to this, that is before 18th century, all the university courses in Europe were religion or scripture or God-based. As I told you earlier, this is a modern era. And slowly, this also had to change. In 1737, Göttingen University was founded in the beautiful in the beautiful country of Germany. It had the first independent history department, which was never ever provided in any of the universities all across Europe. Although, in course of time, Germany also became the center of historical studies. So once when a course is offered in any of the universities, immediately you have people who get attracted and they enroll for the courses. And when first particular course was given in history in Göttingen University, what happened? Many particular universities in Germany, France, Belgium, then United Kingdom, Spain, and the Netherlands, Poland, Scandinavian countries, and as far as Italy and Yugoslavia, erstwhile Yugoslavia, many universities were established where history and historical studies were being taught. And this is how the growth of history started. Okay, now we move on to 1.4, dear children. I hope y'all are with me and I hope y'all are following what is being taught. 1.4 talks about the notable scholars Voltaire. Voltaire was born in 1694 and he lived till 1778. His actual name was Francois Marie Arot. He was a French historian, and the most important point about Voltaire is he broke away from the tradition of narrating diplomatic and military events which were in great vogue in erstwhile France and Europe. Now, what was so special about Voltaire, or his contribution to history, or historiography, or his school? He stressed on all the aspects of human life, such as social history, the customs and traditions which were prevalent amongst the people and the society, the trade related in those times, and the trade and the economy which evolved through the trade, and of course, agriculture, which was the backbone of the society of the country. Thus, with all these great efforts and analysis and research work which was taken by Voltaire, he was crowned as the founder of modern historiography. Students, with this we come to the fag end of today's unit. I hope you really enjoyed the lecture, although we are not face to face, but heart of hearts, my sixth sense tells me that all my children have understood and digested every word, everything which has been taught today very well. And last but not the least, I would like to sign off by this small quote of one of the greatest prophets, Sri Bhagwan Buddha. Lovely thing to learn from water. Adjust yourself in every situation and in any shape. But most importantly, find your own way to flow. And my dear children, we all know this is, of course, connected to the present scenario of lockdown. The whole world is in a shape of turmoil. The world economies are collapsing. The Wuhan virus, COVID-19, which is also addressed as corona, is really creating breaking news and menace all across the globe. And that is how we, through these divine words of the Lord, I request all of you all to adjust yourself in this situation of turmoil and try to shape up and utilize this time to study well so that you can shine with flying colors. Think this is God's sent opportunity, and my dear children, I know you will do your best. With this, I sign off. Thank you. Love you. God bless you.